What's up, everybody? We're going to be getting going here in just a second. We got some news to share. We got is this Bitcoin pump stalled? Is there something that we should be paying attention to regarding why we're not just breaking through, or is it about to get let loose? Let's jump into the tunes. We're about to jump into this, these charts. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, throw a 1 in chat if you are here, if you're alive, if you're paying attention. Let's see who is here. We're going to be getting going here in just a moment.
I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump.
Not sure if you guys heard what I said. We had a little glitch, but hey, we got some great things we're going to be breaking down here in just a moment. Why is the Bitcoin pump stalled? Is it stalled? Is it just a calm before the storm? Throw a 1 in chat if you are alive, if you're paying attention, if you're ready to dive into this.
It's the political cowards when it comes to gas. I purchased power, just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as
Bitcoin, pumping, altcoin, pumping.
we are hearing from clients around the world.
I'm ready to get it. If you're ready to get it, drop the emojis. If you're a BitLab member, drop some pumps, drop some booms, drop some everything. Let's talk about this market. We got some things we got to cover. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy stream. My name is Kelly Kellum. This stream is brought to you by Arculus, the best cold storage wallet out there. Multi-factor authentication, one tap, biometrics, hardware. I mean, it's the best. You make sure you check out getarculus.com. And before we dive into all this data, we got to ask ourselves, why is the market doing what it's doing? Is it ready to release the Kraken? You think so? Type in Kraken in the live chat right now. Or do you think we're going to get a washout before that move up happens? Everybody hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's go ahead and get into it. Where is my, did I not get it? Oh, I guess, oh, it moved. It's all good. Let's go ahead and dive into what we want to talk about today. Price action sitting right here. People want to say, why isn't it moving? And if you're looking at just like this looks like it's preparing for a move. But if we get out here on a larger time frame, we can see we've been consolidating sideways. Yes, we broke out of this bullishly. We have an indication that something like this may happen. So we've got to be prepared. But what's the reason why we just haven't been able to break through this yet? We're about to dive into that and a lot more. So let's go ahead and make sure, everybody, that you're feeling grateful, that you're practicing gratitude, that you're moving your body throughout the day, that you're eating healthy. Let's keep our bodies and minds primed to absolutely dominate whatever we're doing in life, whether you're trading, investing, trying to pay attention to something you're learning, or even being present for your family. I just wanted to do a little positive word there. But diving back into this, we are sitting here consolidating at $71,204. How can we be frustrated right now? There's nothing at all to be frustrated with the price action where it is right now. Similarly, Ethereum, look at this. Nice bull flag pennant or symmetrical triangle. Either way you want to look at it, price action has broken bullishly out of this and has come down and found support twice. We can also see BNB making these moves on this macro, midterm macro bull pennant we have here, breaking out, consolidating into another bull flag. What do we see on Avalanche? Avalanche has been consolidating. Nice move to the upside, but it's been consolidating here. I think the move is coming sooner than we believe it is. Even if we get the dip even down here to the $31 level, I'd still be excited about what is to come. So let's go ahead and go through some of the things we wanted to talk about here and discuss what is going on, because we can see global liquidity, sharp angle, weaker angle, almost flat. This is indicating global liquidity just on this metric. Looking at the analysis of the behavior, this is indicating that move to the upside is coming in terms of liquidity. And if you want this move to the upside in price action, you also want to see that fuel to start go into the gas tank. So this is what we want to be paying attention to. We also see the capital flow. Nice move to the upside, sell off, or it's a reduction in capital, I should say, back to the zero line and then reversing back up. Things are feeling good and looking good. We need to not be so frustrated about what's going on, because when we look at whether you're looking at Bitcoin, seeing this macro absolute bullishness here, whether you're looking at Ethereum, getting the breakout to the upside, bull flag, looking at BNB, bull flag, breakout into another bull flag, looking at Cardano even, yes, we are in a range, but starting to make some moves to the upside. We can actually draw another trend line right in here. We're coming into the zone for a potential breakout on Cardano if we can get above 49 cents, and then most importantly here above 52 cents. We also see things like Render consolidating and a little bit of sideways. Everything's waiting on that flow. Everything's waiting on that the risk barrier to be taken off and the floodgates to start coming in. And if you are here, you are ahead of everybody. So let's talk about some of the things we want to talk about. Let's first look at the VWAP, the volume weighted average price band. Similar to when I'm looking at the realized price, the short-term holder realized price has been bouncing. Well, this is looking at that positive spread that we talk about in here. This is looking at the intention of market makers to push above, find support here, push above, find support here, push above. A little deviation, that's okay, but look at this, finding support. Once we break out of this sort of buffer zone on the way up, the reason why this is nice is because as this, if and when this does break to the upside, then this buffer zone of the volume weighted average price also travels up and gives us a higher support range as the price continues to basically appreciate to the upside. Now, looking at this, let's just get a little context. So we're going to dive back into charts. We're going to be doing mostly charts this stream because it's going to be a little shorter. We're going to be ending by noon because we got to, allow the legend himself, Roaring Kitty, going live at noon. I definitely will be watching that. He's got like 70,000 people waiting there. But let's look. Good morning, Bitcoin Archive says. Bitcoin ETFs are buying hundreds of millions and basically dollars worth of Bitcoin again on a daily basis. We're seeing that. Now look at this. We're getting that like we saw with MicroStrategy, the business model where yes, they're a technology company, software company, but now they've also moved into being mostly it's a Bitcoin development company. It's an analog. It's almost like a beta version of getting a leveraged ETF because they're continuing to add Bitcoin positions. And we've seen the value of that company explode over time because of that bold decision Michael Saylor made. And now we see Similar Scientific is using the MicroStrategy playbook to raise $150 million to buy more Bitcoin. Central banks are cutting interest rates. Global monetary supply is rising again. That's what we just talked about. Wall Street and corporate media are actively pushing Bitcoin to boomers. It's going to be a slow burn there, but as people become more aware of the antithesis of all that negativity that they've been broadcasting for 14 years, they're basically, they have electronically traded products. They're pushing this information to that older and more traditional group. It's the perfect storm, and Bitcoin is sitting at $71,000 like it's nothing. Zero hypermania. Just look at the one-year chart. What do you think happens next? Much higher. That's what we got to be aware of. When we're talking about that, let's look at this. Here's the MACD. Here's the price action. Here is the halving. Here is a halving. Here is a halving. What do we see all three cycles? Halving up, having a little slow burn, but up. Having a little slow burn, but up. Right now, everybody's frustrated. If you've been, let's all be honest. Everybody right now, if you've been frustrated over the last 80 days as we pushed up to 74 and we're trading sideways, be honest, have you been a little frustrated this isn't just ripping to the upside? And we've talked about this, 40 to 150 days. Each cycle, we've had sideways. This was the 40 days. And then we had, it was like a 70 or something. And then this was 100 something days. And we're right there at like the 48 or 49 day mark post-halving. We're doing what we've seen every cycle. Throw a one in chat if you've been at all frustrated. It's okay. We have to be aware of our frustration so we can manage it. Now, looking at where we're at here, not only the halving, but the MACD has been expanding, meaning as is the histogram bars and the spread, you're seeing an expansion of movement, momentum to the upside. Similar right here, we crossed back positive and then expanded all the way up. Right here, it was already expanding. Look, it started pinching. Very similar to what we see right here. And then we had that expansion of momentum to the upside. So we are on track for absolute bullishness. So everybody right now, for the crypto market, for your portfolio, for your future. Hit the like button. Hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, join us here in the family because we want to make sure that you have all the tools, resources, and community and unbiased looks at this market so you can navigate it in the most healthy way, because this is what we're looking to. Yes, it feels like, is it going to happen? Yes. It's just a matter of patience. So we have to be aware that there are hedge funds out there that are net short $5.8 billion in the CME futures market right now. So if we do get up above that 72 and that 74,000, I think things are going to absolutely send, because you're going to start forcing closures of those shorts, which is effectively a buy. And so that's going to take a lot of that overhead pressure off of the market. So we got to be aware of that. And we can also see this continues to make healthy pullbacks into the bull market support bands. No reason to break below. This also tells us that the best is yet to come. This is what we're looking for, that best part of the market, the most explosive part. With the cycle top ending after a strong push above the bands that don't make any retest. That's the important part. So what we're seeing here, look, retest, 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 and then we just get the expansion above with no retest up into the top of that parabola. Similar here, retest, retest, and then the spread. That marked the top. What we got? Retest, 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 retest. We have not started that explosive gain portion yet. Throw your hands in the air right now and drop them on that like button, because I am excited about what is coming to this market. Now, we got to pay attention. I also wanted to share NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft together are bigger than China's entire stock market. Put that in your mind right there. Now, I wanted to come back. I had something else I wanted to show you. Apparently, I didn't bring it up, but that's okay. There is something I wanted to show you. Where is it at? It is right. I mean, look at the altcoins, the setup of the century. I mean, this is what we're about to step into. You see this move? I mean, how similar can you get? And we're frustrated. Let's be a little bit more patient when we're changing the course of our lives, because it is happening. Now, here's what I wanted to talk about today, most specifically, when we're talking about why isn't it just exploding? We're seeing $800 million worth of buys the other day. We saw over 4,000, I think it was 4,900 or something, Bitcoin bought by BlackRock alone yesterday. Well, when you're looking at this, it says, why aren't we at $100,000 yet? US ETFs have acquired 200% of the Bitcoin mined since launch in mid-January. At 71,000, Bitcoin is up 50% since ETFs launch, but many are asking why not more? And this is important right here. But we're battling against a bigger force. And this is what we have to be aware of. Once we break through this is when we start to get that huge amount of retail hype. Long-term holders are selling. They're taking some profits. Who the hell would take profit here? Well, when you understand that some people bought at 600, at 6,000, at 30,000. If bigger players out there, some of them aren't trading and buying and holding Bitcoin from this conviction standpoint. They're looking at a tradable asset. And when you have price action, basically doing this thing where you're actually coming in to the previous all-time high range, and you've been in since down here, or you've been in since way over here, this is a necessary spot to at least de-risk. It doesn't mean sell everything. It means some people are de-risking here, taking some profits because they might be up 600%, 1,000%, so on and so forth. So when we're considering that, and we understand that long-term holders are selling, holders that have held for 2 or more years, share of the total supply has dropped from the 57% all-time high in December to just 54% today. While minus 3% doesn't sound like much, that's the same as the 630,000 Bitcoin, or about 300% of the total supply purchase. But look at this. So you see this oscillate to the downside. Long-term holders, right? The percentage of long-term holders in the market. And then what happens is what? We get right about, roughly about the previous all-time high, And this is when the long-term holders are taking profits into the strength of the bull trend. So nothing different is happening here. This shouldn't worry you. This should also signal you we're about to enter that omega candle zone. So let's go. Let's not be so frustrated. The data is supporting what we want to see. That's essentially what I wanted to share from that. So let's dive back into these charts and talk about what's going on in this market. So Bitcoin, we have a pretty big, I mean, it's almost a bearish divergence, but a large reduction in the momentum at the zone, which makes sense because look at this expansion to the upside. This was pretty large. I mean, this was what, 70, 80% move. And then this move back up from here is only a 30% move. So it makes sense that this momentum wave is a bit smaller in this zone, but things are consolidating right now until the S hits the fan. But as we're sitting here right in the zone, we have to pay attention to the possibility of that move, the washout to the downside. That is very possible. As this pushes up, yes, we are above this weekly VWAP, this yellow line. This is part of the BitLab trading stack. We are above it, but we're sitting right here pinched between the weekly VWAP and this larger descending trend line from this previous range all-time high and actual current all-time high of Bitcoin, which is up here in the roughly $74,000 region. To be most specific, it would be, where's the high? 73,835. So what I'm looking at is right here, OHLC. This is open, high, low, close. If you put your mouse over any candle, you see how all these change? It tells you what the open of the candle was, the high point of the candle was, the low point, and the close, etc. So it gives you more, a lot of people just see those numbers. They don't know what they mean. But notice, I want you to notice another thing that's obvious on this chart when you start paying attention. Let's turn off the other indicators. Just look at the volume. This volume indicator showing you how much is traded at each price level. That's a great metric, but let's look at these that auto print, these order blocks showing you where a huge amount of orders were dropped into the order books, essentially liquidity interest areas on price levels. Look at where the price is right now. We dipped into this. We got rejected. We're pushing into this right now. We're not necessarily rejected, but we've definitely slowed down. You could admit that. And we've just entered. We're just kind of not only battling with this descending trend line, this descending resistance, but we're also battling with the liquidity interest zone that's right here. So when we get over to, where is it? I thought I had it up. Let's pull up the high block capital, boom. Now look in here, liquidation levels. We talked about this the last couple days. This has been riding very high. Not only has this been riding very high, we've had, let's go, Velo data. There we go. I'm dropping some alpha on you guys today. This is a sort of contention point. We have a positive premium, meaning more people are going long than short, which makes sense, right? But we also have open interest increasing, meaning there's starting to be a lot of leveraged longs setting up an interesting situation and a higher likelihood for that whipsaw washout before the price moves up. Clearing that liquidity, meaning if this moves down, all these longs, this increase in longs and the amount of money that's been going long leverage, and we can tell that it's long, mostly long because of this positive premium, that means that we're stacking up all these potential liquidation zones directly above us. All these, it's actually below us. All these potential liquidation zones potentially below us. If they're going long, then you're getting liquidation and forced closure spots below us. Now we have a huge delta here with how high this has been, and this has not really had any sort of move to the downside. It doesn't have to happen. You just have to be aware of the possibilities so you don't get yourself in a position that you get wrecked. When we look at the actual, not levels, wanted to go to map. There we go, liquidation heat map. When we're looking at this, we can see, let's zoom in right there. We've cleared into the zone, but we do have, as we just outlined what I just showed you on that Velo data chart with an increase in open interest and most of them long, we can see right here, we're starting to get these hot levels. This wasn't here the last couple of days. I mean, this is only recently sort of popped up. And what we're seeing here is those long liquidation zones starting to get very hot around just under $70,000, and then quite a bit more down here at that 68.4, 68.5 zone. So is there a scenario here where the price action does lick down to clear this liquidity, aka make the market structure more healthy because the underlying type of trades that are involved on the order books in the market? It's very possible. Now, this doesn't have to happen, but this is telling us. Now, if this does move to the upside, then what we're going to start seeing is at some point there will be a somewhat fierce move that does scare some people. If this does push up, I'm expecting that we do get not a hesitation, but a stopping point somewhere between this previous all-time high, 73.8, and the 74,000 target that we have on this measured move. And this would suggest that potentially what that would mean is, let's actually move this. What that would mean is a scenario that this basically breaks up, comes down. If it finds support here, that is excellent. Probably find some and then make a move like that. If this does push up, we have to watch if this does come down. What I would say, if we do lose this level, I do think this would be a bear trap somewhere in the zone that we can then take advantage of. So you can be aware of the forecasting of what might come, and then you're in a better position because you have a strategy organized around it to attack it with a plan versus jumping into it emotionally, because if you jump in emotionally, you're absolutely just going to wreck yourself. So let's go down through a couple more of these. Ethereum. I mean, look at this nice, we do have this sort of semi-macro broadening wedge, but we have this falling channel, falling wedge here that look right into this line, and then little rejection, then launch. Now we got the bull flag. If we do measure this out, the target on this breakout is actually a beautiful number all the way up here, almost to $5,000, $4,700 Ethereum. The reason why I have this shorter target is because I do not think this is going to break out and just slice through this. We are going to take pit stops along the way. If you're aware of that, then you don't get taken advantage of in the market because you have a $4,700 target, and then this has a hesitation here. So you jump out because we're coming down to do a little retest, and then this launches. You're like, God dang it. I got triggered by emotions again. Your emotions will steal so much more from your wallet than any trade you could ever take. The emotions and the way you're engaging with this market is really what jacks up the most people, because you're acting not on a plan, but in a moment, the way you're feeling hopeful or fearful. So this is beautiful. Coming up here right about that 4,000 mark, it would make sense we would hesitate here. Not only do we have this previous range high at 4,084 range, we also have this longer time frame order blocks from many, many moons ago, right back here in December 2023, actually December 2021. 2 order blocks here that are corresponding with where this got rejected again. So we have this range high as well as the previous range high levels with the order blocks all in confluence with each other. This tells me we're going to come up here, have to do some work, most likely, and then we'll get that sort of that once we do the work to clear this, then we get that pass to take the move all the way up here into the $4,700 range. Now let's look at Solana. Solana was starting to make some moves, but this does concern me that we have this lower high here. We did break down, but then we got the inverted head and shoulders. We also had this level that was defined here, this descending trend line. We broke out of this. Now we've got, I mean, I would actually draw this different. Let's go ahead and do this more like this. This is more of a falling wedge. Yeah. We did break out of this bullishly, but we yet again have another lower high. So let's go ahead and see if there's a trend line on Solana here. And it'd be something like this. And this tells me that if this is able to hold this order block zone directly below us, if we can hold here and start pushing up, this is the next level I'd be watching for, 181. And if 181's taken, I think clearing this range high, which is just barely above it, this will be a simpler task. This is more important because we have an order block we're clearing here, as well as this the intersection of this descending trend line that comes right into it. And then from this point on, then I think we start making our headway up to take out this 209, 210, and then all the way back up here to up here into the 220 zone where the next order block is. Let's look at near protocol, looking a little weak on the short term. We're on the 12-hour chart. We got 2 things that I'm seeing here. What am I seeing? Well, we got a channel, and we also have, let's see, boom. We got a bit of a channel here that's already broke. Rising channels tend to break bearish, and what do we see? We have the channel, break bearish, come up test. So if this is a fake out, this would be great. But what we would need for that is for this to hold roughly about where this point of control is, because we also have a lot of previous, can't see this. We have a lot of previous stuff right in here See all this price action, rejection roughly in the area, bounce roughly in this area. And then this is exactly where we're bouncing, right on this point of control. What's a point of control? Where the most volume has traded on the visible area you're looking. So when you're looking at all this, the most volume is traded at this price point, $7.14, $7.13 sort of zone, this region. And we also have this order block. So what I'd like to see is a bull is holding this and then working our way back up. If we lose this, we're likely coming back down. I would say probably to this region right here. I'm looking at this high, these lows, these bounces. See this bounce as well. See this bounce on the top. We can actually drag this down just a touch and say, this is where I'd look for the next target down here at 641 if we lose this. Remember, when you're trading, if any analyst tells you this is where it's going, they're lying to you. Maybe they'll be right sometime. Find somebody like me or like Frankie Candles, even Crypto Face and Tom Crown. You'll look at the probabilities. You think if this, then that. And it should never be one bias. It should be if bullish, then I'm watching this. If that doesn't play out, the bearish narrative may be this. This way you have levels set up and a plan of action regardless of the direction it goes. Now, what happens also if this comes down and finds support here and then bounces? Then we also have essentially basically a W pattern set up for a potential move to the upside. So near is looking somewhat stifled at the moment. But again, I think this is tied back to Bitcoin. Potentially, people don't want to do these longs on these alts if Bitcoin's about to take a spill. And this, I'm not saying it is, but it's looking somewhat indiscernible right now at the moment. So let's get back down. Let's look at a couple others that we haven't looked at in a while. XDC, how about this one? One of those RWA projects. I got to talk with the team there at Consensus, and they've got some really great things that they're working on, great protocol. And look at, and look at this opportunity in terms of, I mean, forming a nice base. It has not made its move yet. I mean, even this move here, I mean, that's a 172% move to the wick. And we're sitting under it, kind of creating a little bit of a base right now. Once this starts moving up, I think this is going to be one of those great movers in the market. Look at this. We finally got positive money flow here on the 4-hour. The VWAP is starting to angle down. This gives me short time frame, near term sort of caution. But we do have positive money flow. So this is primed. If this can hold this level on XDC, how many of you out there hold XDC? We got a bit of a trend line here. Bounce. If this can bounce, we want to clear 3.8 cents. And if we can clear that, then I think we'll be making moves up into this zone here, 4.1 cent. If we lose this level, I'm watching roughly this order block right here at 3.6 cents. So things are looking a little slow at the moment. But remember, Solana dropped to $8. Do you guys remember that? And people, even myself, I was like, man, I don't screw Solana. I never liked Solana, but now it's like you can't hate it. I mean, you can't hate on Solana. Look at this down here. 8 came down into the 8s. Look at that. 860. So right here is when people that were really looking to the future were buying the blood in the streets, and then it pushed, and then it was boring, and then it launched. So when we're talking about things like XDC that are similarly doing that sort of the fall, and then the consolidation, then push. And then what happened? Just like Solana, having a little bit of a base, kind of descending a little bit here. But look at that money flow on the 12-hour coming back up towards positive. PEPE, how many of you guys out there hold PEPE? What is happening with ONDO? I'll jump into ONDO here in just a moment for sure. But PEPE, look at this. I mean, this is interesting because look at this move right here. This move right here is matched by the next move. See that? It's actually bigger, this next move. So this shows that there's bullish momentum increasing. Now, if this was large and the next one was half as big, say the move only, it was much smaller, that shows that the conviction of the bulls is slowing down. This shows currently that it's speeding up. And what do we have right here? We've got a bit of a bull pennant on a great scale here. And so what I would do, I would measure this. You could measure it from all the way down here. That would not be accurate. I would measure this like this. do the target here on PEPE would be all the way another, let's see, another 60% move up measured out of this bull flag. So if this does pull back, though, remember, these things can move quickly because the type of conviction in these types of assets can flip on the turn of a dime. And if we get a move down, I'd be looking for something down here in the 1120, which is, you know, it's not a small move. That's a 20% move to the downside, in which case this would probably be a pretty good buy. Let's talk ONDO. How many of you guys out there took that ONDO call that we made? I think it was like February 15th or something in the Discord. I shared it with all you that here in BitLab, I think a couple days later, but that was in like the mid 20 cent range. And we're sitting here beautifully with this nice push up consolidation, rise. Look at this bull flag, bull flag, bull flag. Now this is smaller, larger. Now this is smaller, meaning that we had this sort of increase in momentum. And then they decrease. That's what I'm talking about. Larger and smaller is a measurement of this growth here, 41%. And then this one right here is 50%. And then we come back here to, 30%. So you see there's a little bit of a kind of an oscillation in that bullish exuberance at the moment. But this has also been running while other things have been flat or have pulled back. So this also can be explained like that. If ONDO does lose the level that we're in right now, look at this. It tried to, came back up. If it loses this, because this looks fairly bearish, this structure. If we get down to smaller time frames, this looks fairly bearish, kind of triple toppy, but we are finding a support. If we lose this, though, I'm ultimately looking here at the $1.28 region. And if we lose that, then it may be going, down here into the 118 sort of zones. So ONDO, they are making huge headway with the amount of capital and TVL they have with their OUSG, or in the BlackRock's BIDL, RWA, tokenizing of treasuries. They're making huge waves. So I'm not too worried about this. In fact, I would invite this to dip so we can add more to our positions. Let's look at a couple others. We got Link. Look at this. I mean, still, what do we talk about? I shared this the other day, this falling wedge that once we lost this zone here, came back up, created that rejection at the intersection of these two trend lines, and also formed this trend line here. But then this has kind of been hugging the upper half of this. What do I mean by upper half? Let's take like a midway point here, the midway point of 50% of the move, right? We've been on the upper half of this and keep holding support here. Now we have this range tops, rejections and support. As this rejects and comes down here, currently we've bounced back up. And look, they tried to bring us down, but we got back in the fight here. But this is still somewhat a bearish candle. There's still an argument to be made. What I would actually like to see on Link is actually this reject here, come down, find support again, push up. We get the W formation, right? And then we break out from here, come down, and then make the move like that. Now, when we're looking at this, we still have negative money flow here on the 4-hour, but the momentum wave has clipped back up. This is looking, a lot of things look like they're waiting on Bitcoin to make the move. Now, we had this jobs data this morning, and look at the dollar. Everybody's wondering, why isn't things mooning right now? Because look at the dollar. Look at the dollar on the 4-hour chart. Look at this W formation, but also just boom from that jobs data that came out this morning. So what does this mean in the grander context? Why the hell do we care about the dollar? Because this tells you, is risk going into the market or is risk coming out? AKA, do risk assets pump or do they start pulling back? This is putting a little bit of a damper on the current bullish moment we're having in Bitcoin. And it's okay because we're at a known trend line. This also may indicate a higher likelihood of that washout to the downside. My point with that is, if we do get a washout to the downside, it's more likely than not a bear trap unless we get a large geopolitical thing that is like a black swan type of thing that really is a good indication for why money runs to protection, right? Which would see this rising up into the zone. If this does continue this up, this may mean the dollar rises into this level. This will mean that we're probably going to have a little bit of a cooling period for a week or so in Bitcoin. So understanding these things broadly gives you a clear vision about what may be happening in the market. If we look at the total 3, we also, I want it to be super bullish in the exact moment, but we do have a little bit of a rising wedge here. Looking at this is on the daily, a little bit of a rising wedge here. This may spell, if this were to play out and we do get some of that pressure on the risk narrative, that this does have not break down, things crash, but the total 3, if this were to dip right here and lose this, you know, coming somewhere into this region here before moving back up, that would be something that this chart is kind of suggesting maybe likely, which just means we got to be a little bit patient if things don't break through that $72,000 zone on Bitcoin. So I'm feeling really good about the market right now. I'm not too worried about what's going on. Fetch AI is looking like it does want to test that sort of breakdown a little bit. Why do we say that? Because we have, look, triple top kind of, the elements of that are there. We have this sort of support level that has been broken, come up, retested, and expanded to the downside. So we may be looking at a little bit of a pullback in Fetch. What does Render look like? Still looking just sideways. Anything else? Let me see. I'm scrolling through y'all's CHEX. We can look at CHEX because we talked about that. I met with that team at Consensus. Another one of those RWA projects that has, it was super low. Let me see, coin market cap, and we go Chintai. Really nice guys on the team. Chintai, CHEX. Look at that, $170 million market cap. They have all their circulating supply, and total supply is already out. So when we look at this on the charts, and they have licensing from the Financial Services Committee and this and that all over in Asia and Singapore. That's something that we need to pay attention to when we see things like that. So when we look at this, it's only just begun. Do you see this? Now we're getting this nice move up, and this is kind of pulled back here. We might be setting up for that opportunity zone, especially with the smaller market cap comparatively with some of the other RWA plays that we've been seeing out there. Let's see. Let's go to another chart. CHEX. Let's go to CHEX next C. Now let's go back. So currently we have a higher low. Currently we have a higher low, but a huge amount of negative money flow here. I'd be a little cautious right now if you're trying to take a trade. A trade is different than a position for the bull market. If you're trying to take a trade long right here, this may get a washout to the downside somewhere roughly about right here. Why right there? Because we can see, this is where these reject it from. Reject. So if we do lose this, I'd be looking for an opportunity down here at 16, about 16 even. If we can find, look at this bullish attempt. So there is some bullishness underlying. If this can hold here, we have a higher low, and what we'd like to see is this break through the 1778, 1775 sort of region. That would also accomplish a W pattern for a potential move to the upside. What is Aerodrome doing? Also giving us a little bit of a cooling period. What did we just talk about on the total 3? That rising wedge, we're seeing it specifically on this asset itself. I'm super bullish on AERO for this bull market. But what we're seeing right now is this maybe got a little overheated with the speculation. It's come down. It's offering some opportunity. If you felt like you missed it when it was up here at 239, if you felt like you missed it at 239 and this doesn't excite you that we're back down here in the $2 range, we just talked about this the other day. Look at this arrow that we had drawn on here. It comes right to the point that we're at. If this can hold here, great. But what this doesn't look like, I'm looking at the crosshairs on my screen. There's a little bit of a rejection here, but there's not really any support anywhere. I would think that if this is going to pull down, $1 is a round number, but I think it would come somewhere down here into the 97, 98. potentially even down here to the 86. This would be a wonderful opportunity if it happens. If we can basically find support here, let's go to the 1 hour and see what the metrics say. We have bullish divergence, so there's some hope in the short term. Bullish divergence on the momentum. See this? See how this is angled upward? And what do we see on the price? Angled downward. What are you talking about? Angled downward. See, this is low, lower low. When we look at this on here, we have a low and a higher low. So the underlying data is showing a little bit of strength potentially coming in, but we still have negative money flow. If we can find support here, great. But then we have to contend on the way back up. We need to contend with this trend line right here, and then this level right here, $1.10, and then potentially fighting its way to that next trend line, which should be up here, $1.12. And then we can talk about upside. But that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm feeling. I do want to shout out Arculus. Again, make sure that you're protecting your assets. Get Arculus.com. Use code LAB10, LAB10 for 10% off. If you don't have a cold storage wallet yet, you're setting yourself up for failure. And this is my favorite cold storage wallet out there. And I mean, the different levels of security, but also the ease of use. It's a no-brainer. Head over to getarculus.com, LAB10 for 10% off. And then, of course, if you want to learn how to navigate this market, make sure you take advantage while it is still here, lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly, and you get 15 days for free and 33% off for life. By the way, we have a $100 USDT giveaway to do today. We're doing it right now. So if you haven't yet, head over to this tweet. Head over to this tweet right here. Retweet it right now. You'll be entered to win. I just did the post in the live chat there. But then we're going to do that. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, and we're going to draw for that. And again, if you want to get 15 days free, you cancel anytime, hop in to lab.bitlabacademy.com. Join free deal going away. I'm putting that link in the live chat right now. So you got about 30 seconds and we're going to be doing that giveaway. $100 USDT. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding the bell. I'm going to go ahead and get that tweet ready right here. Let's go into BitLab Academy and let's do it. Comment picker right there. I love you guys. Hope you've all had a wonderful. What's your biggest winner so far this year? I'm curious which coins have been best providing for you guys. Let me know. Premium Twitter picker, we got that. Okay, now log in with Twitter. Let's do it. Authorize app. Now we come right here and copy $100 USDT. Shout out to Maxim, bruh. He was a winner twice on the last two. Where's it at? Here we go. Let's go ahead and do the winner. And Twitter, and get Twitter data. 27. All righty. Let's see who won $100 USDT. ONDO, GRT, and Bitcoin, says Alexander G. Chris Pfaff, who's always, he's been in the BitLab community for quite some time. We'll be taking care of you. I'll coordinate with you. We'll get you paid next week. Love you guys. I appreciate you. Shout out to Chris Pfaff. Shout out to each and every one of you. Shout out to Arculus, our channel sponsor. Shout out to Galactics as well, our others channel sponsor, and family members, and love them. Make sure you go to that link on that Galactics tweet. And again, shout out to Alexander G for all the timestamps and all the help that you do. That's all I got for today, everybody. Make sure you head over to the link on the pinned in the live chat at the very top, lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly or /deal. The link you'll see at the end screen right here. Get in our community. We got all the best things going on, keeping you in the know. And that's all I got. Adios. So I'm going to head over to Roaring Kidney. I want to see what's going on, what he's going to say. So let's do it, everybody. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding the bell, because adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. That like button, sucker.